The surprise defection in Parliament that reshaped the political landscape still in focus tonight. With an opposition MP now aligning with a third party, what does this mean for party loyalty and the road to the next election? We break it all down. This as Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell downplays Hiram Lewis's move to the Coalition of Independents, calling it more proof the F&M is falling apart. Plus, a massive $100 million roadworks project across Eleuthera moving faster than expected. Bahama striping talks progress on over 160 miles of highway and settlement roads at this year's Business Outlook. Then in our news at 7:30, Central Bank Governor John Rawls says new U.S. tariffs could put the brakes on economic growth. The bank's chief says officials are watching closely as President Trump's latest trade policy sets a 10% baseline on all imports. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. The political landscape heating up this week with an opposition member's surprise move to switch parties and become a third-party voice in Parliament. It's raising questions about more political figures and the opposition's readiness going into elections. Berthany McDermott, he gets us started tonight.
As Chairman, are you able to confirm if Dr. Minnis was given the nod or not given the nod?
I can confirm. I won't, but I can. And the leader will speak to this in very short order.
And so speculation remains about the future of the candidacy of former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis in the next general election under his own party's banner. The party's Killarney Association told the Tribune newspaper this week they fully support Dr. Minnis as their incumbent MP. Party Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands summed it up like this.
They support Dr. Minnis, and so, these conversations are very important. And we will have conversations with constituency associations up and down across the length and breadth of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
The news fueled the controversy surrounding the abrupt resignation of Central Grand Bahama MP Hiram Lewis from the F&M this week, a decision that seems to have shocked quite a few except Sands. He told Our News Today he believes Lewis's decision is only a reaction to a rejection from the party's Central Grand Bahama Constituency Association.
And while we do not use the commentary of the executives or the association absolutely, we do listen. And certainly we would have met with the executive. They made it very, very, very clear that their experience with their member of parliament was not a good one, not a positive one.
Lewis delivered the shocking news Wednesday in Parliament, moving from the F&M to the Coalition of Independents as their first House member. He cited a divided party and uncertainty surrounding his nomination. We asked Sands if he's worried how this will all play out at the polls.
The Free National Movement is absolutely unified behind the leadership of Michael Pintard. We are focused not on burning, but on building. We are focused on the future. The world has changed. The voting public wants to know that there are real opportunities for them in a modern Bahamas.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks for that, Berthany. Meanwhile, Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell describing Hiram Lewis's resignation from the Free National Movement as, quote, not so bombshell, end quote. On Wednesday, the Central Grand Bahama MP withdrew his support from the F&M and announced he would join the Coalition of Independents, giving the Fringe Party its first seat ever in Parliament. The move leaving many to ask what happened, and from Mitchell's viewpoint, he says it's further evidence the opposing Free National Movement is imploding.
In one way, it's great. In another way, it's a shame. The rumor has been swirling for months of the disaffection between Mr. Lewis and Michael Pintard, the leader of the opposition. The departure was therefore no surprise, and there is no love lost because the F&M issued a statement shortly after Mr. Lewis left, essentially kicking Mr. Lewis in the behind. One of the marks of a good leader is trying to keep the troops together. Mr. Pintard is doing a good job in breaking up the dollhouse, doing exactly the opposite by telling Dr. Hubert Minnis, Renwood Wells, and Desmond Bannister, no can do, no nominations.
And it's not the first time infighting within the F&M has come to light. An apparent split, evident ever since the party's convention last year. Mitchell is predicting, though, more unrest if the FNM will come as the election season, or more unrest in the FNM will come as the election season draws near.
And while Hubert Ingram was seeking relevance by his intervention in the public domain on the judiciary this week, he appears to be close to irrelevance in the world of Michael Pintard and the FNM. Again, rumor has it that Dr. Minnis and his forces on the Eastern Road will make one more try at Michael Pintard and try to oust him by getting a convention before the general election. So PLPs and people of goodwill, let's get the popcorn. This is going to be good.
A juvenile facing a murder charge after prosecutors say he killed a 50-year-old man. The 16-year-old boy stood before Chief Magistrate Roberto Reckley alongside his grandmother, charged with the March 30th murder of Kevin Cooper, who also used the surnames Evans and Carey. According to police, Cooper was shot near the Fleming Street Clinic after an exchange of words with another man. The teen wasn't required to enter a plea to the murder charge, and bail was denied. He was remanded to the Simpson Penn School for Boys and returns to court on July 3rd to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. And now to Eleuthera, where a $100 million roadworks project that spans the entire island is ahead of schedule. That's according to Bahamas Striping Group of Companies Chief Operations Officer Vibert Williams, who gave an update on the project at the Eleuthera Business Outlook this week. Williams told the gathering the scope of works covers 163 miles of highway and settlement roads, a project he admits is massive. In March 2024, Works Minister Clay Sweeting told reporters at an Office of the Prime Minister press briefing that a public-private partnership with BSGC and its subsidiary Caribbean Pavement Solutions was signed in Rock Sound, Eleuthera. Williams says once complete, the roads will meet international standards.
This is a 4-year project, but as in every project Bahama Striping Group has done, we intend to beat that timeline handsomely, and we will on this project as well. So far, we've done 26.2 miles of work. We started in Deep Creek. We've done some in Wims's Bight, Governor's Harbor, Savannah Sound, Greencastle, and the Green Line in Palmetto Point.
All right, the Eleuthera roadways that you just heard about, not the only infrastructural upgrades underway on that island. Coming up in our news at 7:30, our Jasmine Brown, who has been in Eleuthera this week, continues her exclusive coverage from that central island. All right, making food security our priority. The much-anticipated Agri-business expo officially opening today on Gladstone Road. It's expected that dozens of local farmers and businesses will get to show off their homegrown goods, spreading awareness and making an extra dollar or two. Our Joshua Williams was there.
Over 20 Bahamian vendors producing and selling locally grown foods and beverages. The Agri-business Expo 2025 officially opened Friday at the Gladstone Road Farmers Market site. The yearly event has become a staple for backyard farming enthusiasts and those looking to support local farmers. Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister Jomo Campbell says it's just the latest step in improving food sustainability.
Well, we definitely want to increase the awareness and the education and just to open the minds of our local population for them to understand that we can truly feed ourselves and that we should simply seek to prefer what we grow here locally at home over imports. You know, we talk from time to time about reducing the $1 billion food import bill, but government can't do it alone.
Government also sponsoring 30 schools throughout the country with a $2,500 agricultural grant. Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper says the annual event is greater evidence that local interest in agriculture is growing among residents.
When we consider the tomatoes in our salads, the grouper on our plates, the cassava in our stew, we are reminded not only of the rich culinary culture, but of the Bahamas' tremendous potential for self-sufficiency.
The People's Republic of China also joining in the festivities this morning. They say they'll continue to work with the government as we strive towards food sustainability.
We will partner with BAIC again to donate farming tools to local farmers. Second, from the 18th of June to the 1st of July, we will sponsor 15 Bahamian experts for a 2 weeks, 14 days agriculture training in China, and all the cost are fully covered by the Chinese government.
But the fun is just beginning. Stay tuned to our news where our weekend team will be bringing you highlights once the festivities get underway. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Central Bank of the Bahamas brought hundreds of high school students to Bahama Resort for a financial literacy fair on Friday. Central Bank Governor John Rowe telling Our News the annual fair is focused on exposing the students to what's happening across local financial institutions.
We are giving them exposure to, what goes on in our local financial institutions, products and services, and we're also sharing with them knowledge about, how the regulators and others who oversee the financial system, how they operate.
Now, more than 500 high schoolers attended from New Providence, with another 100 Family Island students that joined virtually. Governor Rowe spoke about the topics that were covered.
They are learning about, first of all, financial products and services that are available in our financial sector. They're also learning about the work that the central bank does, that the Securities Commission and the Insurance Commission do in terms of regulating and ensuring that the financial system is kept, safe and stable.
All right, good stuff. We've got much more to get to tonight, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson, he is in the Weather Center. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Kenyon, and a happy TGIF, everybody. A very warm day around the islands today. Temperatures managed to get up into the mid-80s. We are still warm on the outside. 80 degrees is our current temperature with a few passing clouds. Still have a bit of a breeze out there. East winds at 16 miles per hour, but your temperature feels like 82 degrees on the outside. Temperatures around the islands right now. It is currently 79 in Freeport, Great Harbor Key, Alistown, Bimini. Marshall, Abaco, 78. Pick up another 79 over in Governor's Harbor. 80s in Nicholstown, Andros, and here in the capital. 80 in Kemps Bay. 80 also in Deadman's Key. 79s, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Georgetown, the Exumas. Coburn Towns and Salvador, 78. And those temperatures extend across you guys in Rumkey. Forgot to mention you the other night. You still feel like about 78 degrees right now. And into the southeast Bahamas, 79s once again, Duncantown, Ragged Island, Delectable Bay. Then we pick up 78 in Abraham's Bay, Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, 80, as well as Providenciales, Tricks and Caicos Islands, and deep south Matthewtown, Inagua, also 80 at this hour. Satellite radar composite. This is a rinse and repeat. High pressure is in charge. A dry air mass continues to dominate our weather. The winds are starting to come down as the pressure gradient is relaxing, but that east to southeasterly wind flow is still bringing some sporty showers across portions of the Bahamas, so we could see one of those two passing showers later on tonight. Colorado State University put out the new numbers for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. We'll tell you more about that later on in the newscast.
Coming up in sports, as if you needed another reason to watch the Final Four, well, aside from the obvious, we explore the Bahamian connection with the best conditioned team in college hoops and send you into the weekend with top plays.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but two NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
My name is Troy Williams.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. The Houston Cougars have gained a reputation as one of the best conditioned teams in college hoops. We explore their path to getting that distinction and why it has them on the brink of program history headed into the Final Four. The Cougars' off-season photos and workout regimen have recently gone viral during their run in the tournament. Houston coach Kelvin Sampson mentioned the work of the entire strength and conditioning staff, which includes assistant strength coach Brian Clark, at a post-game press conference following the Cougars' Elite 8 win over Tennessee. The Cougars face the Duke Blue Devils tomorrow night with a trip to the national championship on the line. After a 4-3 start to the season, Houston has gone 30-1 ever since and has won 17 in a row headed into the Final Four. The BAISS Soccer Championships concluded as the league crowned new champions in the senior divisions. In senior girls play, the Life Key International School Dragons defeated the Queens College Comets 3-1 to win back-to-back league titles. Next up, it was the senior boys division, and it was Windsor School getting the edge against the St. Andrews Hurricanes 2-1. Deshaun Knowles will run it back and return for his second season with the Sioux City Explorers. Knowles was an integral part of the X's 2024 playoff run in the American Association of Professional Baseball. He hit .261 with 1 home run and 13 RBI through 23 games with the club. Sioux City has now signed 22 players for the 2025 season, which opens May 8th against the Kane County Cougars. And we send you into the weekend with your 10YS Plays of the Week. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as global markets tumble amid the escalating U.S.-China trade war. Plus, a crackdown on foreign students sparking alarm at U.S. colleges. And we'll tell you the $100,000 grant the Guyanese government is giving to newborn babies aimed at helping parents give their children the best start in life. The story when our news returns.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on my services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trevor Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. Global stock markets plunging Friday after China retaliated against U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs announced Wednesday. Trump's move has led to an escalating trade war. The S&P 500 was down 4.8% in afternoon trading after earlier dropping more than 5% following its worst day since the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The Dow Jones was down over 1,700 points, or about 4.3% as of this afternoon, while the Nasdaq was 4.9% lower. Meanwhile, Trump said the market slide due to his decision to impose tariffs was expected and that the step was needed to heal the U.S. economy, which he called a sick patient.
We really inherited a terrible economy, as you know, with a lot of problems, including loss of manufacturing and plants closed up all over the country. You know, we've lost 90,000 plants since NAFTA, if you think of that. 90,000, it's not even believable. And about 6 million jobs. And so it was a sick patient. It went through an operation on Liberation Day. And it's going to be a booming country a very booming country. It's going to be amazing, actually. And we see it because we have trillions of dollars committed to come in. Trillions.
And the Trump administration cracking down on foreign students, revoking visas and ordering some to leave the United States immediately, often without clear explanation. Some students have reportedly been targeted for activism, minor crimes, or even traffic violations, raising alarm among college leaders. According to the Associated Press, schools from Minnesota to Texas say the government is skipping usual channels and quietly deleting student records, catching universities off guard. Experts warn the move could have a chilling effect on international enrollment and leave students afraid, confused, and in legal limbo. And China has announced new tariffs and restrictions on U.S. goods in response to additional duties imposed by President Trump. Starting April 10th, China says it will add a 34% tariff on all U.S. imports on top of previous levies and on agriculture and machinery. Beijing's response follows Trump's 34% tariffs on Chinese goods, totaling a 54% increase this year, along with a crackdown on duty-free, low-value packages from China. Trump dismissed the move as a panic reaction. Palestinians in Gaza City inspected the site of a school building Friday after an Israeli airstrike a day earlier. Authorities say the schoolhouse was being used as shelter for displaced families. The strike killed at least 27 people, including women and children, according to Gaza health authorities. The Israeli military said the school building had been used as a command and control center by Hamas militants and accused the fighters of deliberately using civilian infrastructure as bases. Hamas denies that it operates among civilians. And the Guyanese government rolling out its $100,000 newborn cash grant initiative with the latest launch in Region 10 on Tuesday. The grant aims to provide parents with the financial support needed for their child's development. The newborn cash grant is part of a broader set of measures, including the $100,000 national grant and the $50,000 school age grant to support families and children throughout their development. The initiative is expected to cost $1.3 billion annually. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was April 4th. Then in our news at 7:30, tempers flare at LPIA after taxi drivers arrive to find unexpected changes in operations. This as the union president says the number of cabs allowed in the queue was suddenly cut in half. And we are still on Eleuthera, where power outages continue to frustrate residents despite some improvements since last summer. Jasmine Brown is on the island and tells us how long-term solutions are still in the works when our news returns.
Celebrate calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not one, but two NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Yo, what's good, my
On this day in Bahamian history, Jeffrey Johnston died at the age of 89. Johnston was a politician, lawyer, civil servant, ambassador, and church leader. He was also a partner in the Higgs and Johnson law firm until his retirement in 1998. His career in politics began in 1962 when he was elected to represent the Eastern District of New Providence in the House of Assembly. In the next general election of 1967, he was elected as a member of Parliament for Montague. 3 years later, in February 1970, he was appointed leader of the opposition and served until 1971. Fast forward to April 4th, 2013. Tragedy strikes in Mayaguana after an emergency evacuation flight turned deadly. The Minister of Aviation, Glenys Hannah Martin, confirmed that a plane chartered to pick up the ailing individual crashed into a vehicle near the runway, killing 3 people. And finally, on this day in 2016, was the massive document leak from a Panamanian law firm, Mossack Fonseca, labeled the Panama Papers. A 2016 European Parliament report notes the 11.5 million leaked documents covered nearly 40 years of business undertaken by the company and showed numerous ways to exploit secretive offshore tax regimes to hide funds and income. The International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, ICIJ, which obtained the documents, listed the Bahamas as the firm's 3rd most popular jurisdiction for companies and corporations behind Panama and the British Virgin Islands.
Well, it's a celebration of faith and resilience as Trinity Methodist Church marks 160 years this Sunday under the theme, Honoring Our Past, Embracing the Future. Methodism came to the Bahamas in 1786, and by 1865, Trinity opened its doors on Frederick Street. Just 18 months later, a hurricane destroyed the building, but the congregation rebuilt, and again after another storm in 1928. From its iconic stained glass windows, as you can see there in that footage, to its powerful pipe organ, Trinity has remained a pillar of worship and service. It was also the birthplace of Queen's College in 1890, now one of the nation's leading schools. Today, it is led by Reverend Carla Culmer, the first woman to serve as head of the church.
To last that long, there are not a lot of entities that have been around for that length of time. And it causes you to realize the responsibility that you have, because you have to ensure that it can continue for many more years. And so you have to do your part. What is the calling for you? And I mean the general you, myself, the leadership, all the congregants. This is our season. And so we have to ensure that we put things in place, that we make the church better. You build on what you've received, and so that you can have a glorious future to pass on to those who come behind.
President of the Bahamas Conference of the Methodist Church, Reverend James Neely, will deliver the anniversary sermon this Sunday, capping off the celebration with a special performance by the National Youth Choir. Reverend Culmer says she's proud of the impact Trinity continues to make, especially in nearby inner-city communities. The church runs a decades-old soup kitchen and has a long-standing partnership with the Scouts, helping to shape young lives.
The soup kitchen, where we minister every Tuesday, we have now over 100 people every Tuesday is at Trinity. In both ministries, we use hygiene kits, we serve a hot meal, but it is our members. They give out of their resources, and I'm so grateful for it. We have a wonderful team of people that are very concerned with outreach and how do we help our neighbors and the persons who are less fortunate. And so I see that as a growing ministry because the numbers are growing every week.
All right, what a legacy. If you want to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. It's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is our Talia Hall with the latest headlines. And Talia, just a quick note, Trinity is in fact my church home.
Yes.
I have been going to Trinity Methodist Church for the last 30 years.
Wow.
So I have seen the church grow stride to stride. And certainly the soup kitchen, which my mother is a part of, is something that we are also proud to give back to the community. So,
Great stuff. My family, they're also a part of the Methodist Church. I know it's some difference between, I don't know, 2 types of Methodists.
Listen, Methodist is Methodist, right?
Okay. And I was christened.
2 different conferences, but you know what? The method is still the same.
I was christened in the Methodist Church as well.
Yes.
And I also attend a Methodist church here in the capital.
So 2 good Methodists, I got you.
But I grew up in the Pentecostal denomination. I'm a prophecy girl.
Okay, good. Listen, we can talk more after this then.
For sure. All right, thanks so much, Ken. Well, we're still on Eleuthera, where power outages continue to frustrate residents. Here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on our News Live at 7:30, tempers flared at the nation's main gateway as taxi drivers say they were blindsided by a sudden operational change at the Lynden Pinling International Airport. Hear why the new taxi union president says is unfair and what it could mean for travelers coming up. Also, despite some progress since last summer, residents on Eleuthera say they're still in the dark. Our Jasmine Brown is back on the island tonight with more on the lingering power woes. Plus, the central bank governor weighs in on the potential fallout from a new wave of U.S. tariffs, some as high as 46%. What does it mean for the Bahamas? And later, a year-long legal battle of tug-of-war over one of Junkanoo's most iconic groups may have taken a turn. Delvardo Emmanuel has the latest court ruling and what it could mean for both sides when our news continues.
Inti Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, Inti redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. Inti is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as Inti Corporation shines brighter than ever. Inti Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Struckum, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Struckum, #1 in pest control services.
Get ready to shop till you drop. The Vitamalt shopping spree is back, and you could be the next winner of a $500 shopping spree. Here's how to enter. Buy a 6-pack of ginger, acai, or coconut and hibiscus Vitamalt from any Super Value or 700 Wines and Spirits location. Snap a picture of your receipt and WhatsApp your name and photo of the receipt to 825-2191. This promotion ends Saturday, April 19th. Will you be the next lucky shopper? Vitamalt. Vitalize naturally.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola is ready to...
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Tensions ran high at the Lynden Pinling International Airport Friday after taxi drivers showed up to work and claimed there was a change in operations. Newly elected taxi cab union president Tyrone Butler telling Our News when his members got to the airport today, the number of cabs allowed to be in queue was reduced from 4 to 2, creating an issue for the drivers.
We found that there was a lot of taxi drivers that were being stifled at the gate and weren't allowed to go in, and the dispatchers that should have had their cars parked at the back were not allowed to do that. We decided we would go, the drivers, I'd asked them to join me, leave their cars in the parking lot, join me, and I was going to walk up to the door and see if we can speak to somebody from NAD or the police or anybody that was willing to assist us in getting the matter resolved.
Butler says the team spoke with the airport's officer in charge and the issue was eventually resolved. He admits there was some disruption at the door, with guests having to be escorted by livery drivers. In a statement, the Minister of Energy and Transport called the incident disappointing, saying it was fueled by a rumor, which Nassau Airport Development Company has since cleared up. Meanwhile, Butler offered this assurance moving forward.
This union is not going to be stifled by nobody. This union is a union with a new administration with only 8 days since we've been elected, and we do not intend to sit by when these operators of the different properties, whether it's here at the airport, Atlantis, Bahama, the port, anywhere, this union will push back when we feel like people are putting impediments in our way.
Well, Eleuthera is one family island that has been plagued by power issues. And while the situation has gotten a little better since last summer, there's still power woes. Government and Bahamas Power and Light officials say they're working on fixing the issue. Our Jasmine Brown continues her exclusive coverage on the island of Eleuthera tonight.
Who could forget last summer when Eleuthera residents didn't hold back as they expressed their frustration with power cuts that in some cases lasted for days. It sparked protests and criticism. Eleuthera had been facing frequent power outages during the hottest months of the year, causing frustration among residents who say their utility issues have been overlooked. Officials said the increased demand was due to continued economic growth on the island, combined with BPL's aged infrastructure. BPL CEO Tony Seymour addressed the frustrations at Eleuthera Business Outlook, saying the issues didn't happen overnight and will not be fixed overnight.
We've heard your frustrations. We understand the need for reliable electricity, and we are working diligently to provide you with that.
So what have BPL and the government been doing to address the long-standing issue? Last summer, Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis announced a 50% rebate for Bahamas Power and Light customers on the island. It was also announced that Eleuthera would receive an additional 16 megawatts of generation capacity to address a generation shortfall. And in January, BPL said they were using the winter months to prepare for the summer demand, which sees a spike in power consumption. Seymour says the work to better the power grid hasn't stopped.
I know that you've seen the teams on the ground. They've been working from north to south, day and night, upgrading, replacing lines, poles, cables, trimming trees. We're doing upgrades at the power stations.
She says while there's still work to do to ensure what residents experienced last summer is not repeated, she insists a lot has already been done.
The Rock Sound feeder upgrade is underway. The Governor's Harbor substation work is progressing. Vegetation clearing in Hatchet Bay is past the halfway mark, and fault indicators have been installed throughout the island to allow faster identification of issues so that the teams know exactly where they need to go if there is an outage to find where the fault actually is.
Now, much of those concerns have been right here in Harbor Island, where residents have staged several protests, and it remains to be seen whether what BPL is doing to correct the issues will improve power generation. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
The island of Grand Bahama preparing for a major economic boost with several transformative projects currently underway. Among them, Celebration Key, spearheaded by Carnival Corporation. In our exclusive monthly sit-down interview with our Bank and Trust Vice President and Group Head of Investment, David Slatter, he shared insight on the island's recent economic strides. Slatter, who recently visited Grand Bahama, got a first-hand look at the developments taking place on the ground. He also weighed in on the newly implemented U.S. tariffs, explaining how they could potentially benefit Grand Bahama's industrial and maritime sectors.
I got a chance to drive around a little bit, and for example, I know there's a new block plant there. Went to visit it, and I saw it was like a beehive of activity, and basically all of their product going to the Celebration Key development. So there's an example of how the Celebration Key project is filtering into the Freeport economy. That continues. I think they're right on target to open in July. So that should bode well. And I think, as I mentioned, so once again, my sense was that I felt there was more activity going on than the last time I visited. So it's just anecdotal. It's moving in the right direction, right? So whether it's the shipyard and adding 2 more dry docks, I kind of wonder to what extent, for example, the U.S. trying to put a fee of $1 million on any Chinese-made ship that goes into a U.S. port. Will that benefit the shipyard in Freeport? Will shipping companies see there's an opportunity instead of going into Jacksonville or West Palm Beach? Instead, they come into Freeport and offload and then distribute throughout the region. So that may be an opportunity for the shipyard in Freeport, for the container port in Freeport. Yeah. So overall, my sense was that Freeport was definitely moving in the right direction.
Now, the Our News team took a deep dive into how these new tariffs could impact your monthly budget. For an in-depth look and comparison of prices, be sure to head on over to all of the Our News digital platforms, where you can find that and a whole lot more interesting content from the team you already trust. while the legal wranglings of the Valley Boys Junkanoo groups continues. For over a year now, two factions have fought over the right to the group's name, recognition, and even seed money. Delvardo Emmanuel reports on a ruling this week which has implications for both sides.
The Registrar General officially removing the world-famous Valley Boys name from the register of non-profit organizations for their failure to comply with directives given last August under the Non-Profit Organizations Act. This decision follows a Supreme Court ruling dismissing the group's request for review of that decision. Justice Darren Ellis recently upheld the Registrar General's decision, ruling the group's name closely resembles the Valley Boys Junkanoo group and could mislead the public. The court also noted that the group had several chances to respond before the final decision. The dispute started last year when the two rival factions, the world-famous Valley Boys, led by Brian Adderley, and the Way Forward Valley Boys, led by Trevor Davis, both claimed rights to the iconic name. The Junkanoo Corporation of the Bahamas ruled in favor of Adderley's group, allowing them to compete in the A category for the 2024-2025 Junkanoo parades. Meanwhile, Davis's faction was placed in a non-competitive front group as they registered after the deadline. In response to the decision to remove their registration status as a non-profit, the world-famous Valley Boys released a statement this week calling the move unexpected, claiming they're already appealing an earlier ruling. They're assuring supporters of their commitment to remain active with the JCMP as they prepare for the upcoming Junkanoo season. In a related development, the group received provisional acceptance for a trademark on their name and logo under the Bahamas Trademarks Act. The trademark, filed in May 2024, was approved on April 3rd. Despite their legal hurdles, the world-famous Valley Boys say their focus remains on what they do best, bringing the vibrant spirit of Junkanoo and the excellence of the Valley Boys to the Bahamian people and the world. Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvardo Emmanuel.
All right, thanks so much, Delvardo. And nice weather conditions in the capital on this Friday. Making any plans for the weekend? Well, meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and a happy TGIF, everybody. A beautiful day around the islands. Not as breezy, but it was on the warm side. Temperatures managed to get into the mid-80s. Settling now near the 80-degree mark with few passing clouds on the outside. Still a bit on the breezy side. East winds at 60 miles per hour. Feels like temperature a very warm 82 degrees on the outside. Satellite radar composite. This is a rinse and repeat regime. High pressure in charge. Winds are coming down. Still a tight pressure gradient, so we're still on the breezy side. Windy across the southeast Bahamas, but that east to southeasterly flow is bringing some Atlantic moisture across us. Some spotty showers possible across portions of the Bahamas, but all in all, it should be a beautiful evening, and it is setting up to be a wonderful weekend. Get out and enjoy. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come in our news, a 19-year-old faces a murder charge after a young man was gunned down walking home from a night out. We have courtroom details. Plus, a tech blackout is affecting operations at the Rand Memorial Hospital and other clinics in Grand Bahama. The PHA says teams are trying to restore services. And later, a big step towards global alignment. Find out what the Bureau of Standards is doing to help bring the Bahamas up to par at a national workshop in Grand Bahama. That's all coming up when our news returns.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola is ready to give you a summer of fun with over $20,000 in cash and prizes. Upgrade your premium lunch combo to a medium or a large, or purchase a large salad with a Coke for a chance to win amazing prizes like a 50-inch TV and soundbar, a staycation at Comfort Suites, or a $3,000 Going Places travel voucher. Enter online at Wendy's Bahamas Facebook page for a chance to win.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-173.
A man accused of fatally shooting a man as he walked home from a club has made his first court appearance. Prosecutors have charged 19-year-old Quinton Hart with the March 29 murder of 18-year-old Jaheem Reen. Hart is accused of shooting Reen multiple times as he walked along McCullough Corner around 2 a.m. Hart did not have to plead to the murder charge when he stood before Chief Magistrate Roberto Rackley. Bail was denied and the matter is expected to be sent, or transferred rather, to the Supreme Court on July 3rd with the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. And the Public Hospitals Authority with this notice for Grand Bahamians. The voice and data services at all Grand Bahama Health Service facilities, including the Ram Memorial Hospital and community clinics, are currently experiencing an outage. PTC and the ICT department are actively working to resolve the issues as quickly as possible. In the event of an emergency, the public is asked to call telephone number 727-6103 or contact emergency services at 911 or 919 for immediate assistance. The PHA apologizes for any inconvenience and thanks the public for their patience. As the Bahamas move toward greater sustainability and alignment with international standards, the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality hosted a national standardization strategy workshop this week at the Pelican Bay Resort in Grand Bahama. The workshop aimed to educate stakeholders on new regulations and strategies to strengthen the country's national quality infrastructure, ensuring Bahamian goods and services meet global standards. Industry leaders from across the island participated, engaging in breakout sessions to provide input on the way forward. Chairman of the National Trade Committee is Senator Barry Griffin.
Having a well-crafted national standardization strategy will, 1, enhance competitiveness by ensuring that Bahamian products and services meet global and regional standards. We enable local businesses to access new markets with confidence, facilitate trade and investment. Compliance with international standards reduces technical barriers to trade, making our economy more attractive to foreign direct investment. 3, support innovation and digital transformation. As we embrace a digital economy, standardization protocols in fintech, cybersecurity, and e-commerce will position the Bahamas as a leader in technological advancements.
The project is being funded by the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States in collaboration with the European Union. CEO of the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, Dr. Sharon May Smith, expressed gratitude for the ongoing support.
One of the key outcomes of this initiative is the development of and/or revision of national standardization strategies in 7 CARICOM member states. The Bahamas, topping the list, and 6 other CARICOM member states, Belize, Dominica, Guyana, Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Suriname. A national standardization strategy is critical, especially to our developing member states.
When our news comes back from the break, Lady E's music is once again capturing the spirit of the Bahamas. Find out how her newest hit is making waves both locally and internationally.
Coming up in sports, Brian Clark tells us how his Houston Cougars have prepared for the Final Four. The BAISS crowns new soccer champions in the senior division, and we send you into the weekend with your 10YS Plays of the Week.
And Greg is back with the extended weather forecast when our news continues.
Calling all Alive Fiber basketball fans. Get ready to experience the NBA Finals live. You can enter an all-expense-paid trip to not 1, but 2 NBA Finals games. It's simple. Just sign up for our Alive NBA League Pass or Infinite Sports X package by May 16th. Stay connected, enjoy blazing fast internet, and score your chance to witness the NBA action up close. Don't miss out. Visit AliveFiber.com and take your shot at NBA glory. Terms and conditions apply. It's good to be alive.
Yo. Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. The Houston Cougars have gained a reputation as one of the best conditioned teams in college hoops. We explore their path to getting that distinction and why it has them on the brink of program history headed into the Final Four. The Cougars' off-season photos and workout regimen have recently gone viral during their run in the tournament. Houston coach Kelvin Sampson mentioned the work of the entire strength and conditioning staff, which includes assistant strength coach Brian Clark, at a post-game press conference following the Cougars' Elite 8 win over Tennessee.
We don't start working. I mean, if it's June, if it's March, I mean, we here 24/7, 365 days a year. Like, We train every day, we lift every day, we watch film, we practice, and our mind just always on what's the next game. So
the Cougars face the Duke Blue Devils tomorrow night with a trip to the national championship on the line. After a 4-3 start to the season, Houston has gone 30-1 ever since and has won 17 in a row headed into the Final Four. The BAISS Soccer Championships concluded as the league crowned new champions in the senior divisions. In senior girls play, the Life for Key International School Dragons defeated the Queens College Comets 3-1 to win back-to-back league titles. Issa Borna scored 2 goals in the first half to put LCIS ahead 2-0. Aiden Hamilton scored for the Comets to make the score 2-1 at the half. The only score of the second half was on an own goal from the Comets, and the Dragons held on for the win. Next up, it was the senior boys division, and it was Windsor School getting the edge against the St. Andrews Hurricanes 2-1. Windsor got goals from Michaelo Johnson and Caleb Holder for a 2-0 lead. The Hurricanes surged back after Windsor surrendered an own goal and appeared to score the equalizer, but the goal was called back due to goalie interference. Earlier in the week, Windsor also won the junior girls title, while LCIS won the junior boys. Deshaun Knowles will run it back and return for his second season with the Sioux City Explorers. Knowles was an integral part of the X's 2024 playoff run in the American Association of Professional Baseball. He hit .261 with 1 home run and 13 RBI through 23 games with the club. Sioux City has now signed 22 players for the 2025 season, which opens May 8th against the Kane County Cougars. The Bahamian national team member progressed as far as the AAA level during his tenure with the Los Angeles Angels organization. It was a tough work week, but we all got through it in one piece, for the most part. But let's end it all on a high note with top plays. At 5, the Bahamian connection in Dallas, but not in the order you would have guessed. This one is Kai going to Clay. At 4, UB Mingo's Ronaldo Green with the goal on the free kick. Just a reminder, all of us with this name can do this at any point if we want to. Coming in at 3, Lennox Lockhart adds to his already stacked resume with his first Supercard Series win. I'm just going to keep calling him our Lewis Hamilton until it actually happens. At number 2, Torpedo Bats to the world. Jazz goes deep for the 4th time this season. We told you. 30-30 season incoming. And at number 1, the fastest 58-year-old on the planet, Tim Munnings adds another gold medal, another world record, this time getting it done indoors. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Okay, VJ didn't get rid of Cooper Flag, but Brian Clark has Houston running 4-minute miles, so there's one more chance to be on the right side of history, and not on the side of Duke. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, Lady E's music is once again capturing the spirit of the Bahamas. Find out how her newest hit is making waves. And nice weather conditions to kick off the weekend. Greg is back with the extended weather forecast when our news returns. Stay with us.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trevor Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
This is our news. Welcome back. Want to toss some numbers at you right now. The official from the Colorado State University, they put out the first numbers for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Averages are 14, 7, and 3. That's tropical storms, hurricanes, and potentially major hurricanes. Forecast calls for 17, 9, and 4. Of course, we still have 2 months before the official Atlantic hurricane season, so we're asking you to get ready. And of course, just to throw those numbers out there. Quiet across areas, satellite-wise, nothing happening. High pressure in charge, and that's going to continue to dominate our weather. Frontal boundary to the north will stay well to the north. Won't get near until about Tuesday, so we have a beautiful weekend setting up for any kind of outdoor activity. Future forecast, reinforcing that. Quiet across the area through Saturday, nothing happening. Some high-level moisture moving across the northern portion of Florida, and that will continue through Sunday. And then we are watching the front as it falls apart across the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Boating forecast, northwest and central Bahamas. Caution flag for you out there. High risk of rip currents still in place. East to southeast winds, 15 to 20 knots, 4 to 7 foot seas. Low tide will be at 7:52 tonight. High tide at 2:24 in the morning. Southeast Bahamas advisory still in place there. Easterly winds, 15 to 25 knots, 5 to 8 foot seas expected. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, just a beautiful weekend setting up. If you plan on doing anything on the outdoors, temperatures will get near the mid-80s, and then we expect that front by Tuesday. A couple of showers expected Wednesday, but conditions will improve quickly thereafter. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, looks really good. Thanks, Greg. Well, Erica Lady E. Simonette may not ring a bell to everyone, but you are sure to have heard one of her iconic tunes that evoke the spirit of the Bahamas, Islands in the Sun, and Feel That Rhythm. Originally, songs entered in the Music Masters competition for Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival, Lady E's songs have been commissioned by the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board as official soundtracks to promote the country. Her newest tune, Holiday, was an idea spawned from the mind of the Nassau Paradise Island Promotion Board CEO, Joy Dribaloo. Lady E explains to us what went into the creation.
People come to the Bahamas to get away, to have that type of holiday where they can have a romantic time with their loved one. So all of the Bahamian elements, from you arriving and the beautiful weather of the Bahamas, to see Atlantis, to see Paradise Island, the bathing suits, the water, the allure of the food and everything. It's just something, it's visual food for the soul. So Holiday is just that video where you're going to see everything about the Bahamas. We have John Watlins a part of the video. So that's the rum of the Bahamas. You know, like I said, Bahari, the swimsuits, just Bahamians in general, the hospitality, what it is that we have to offer.
Looks and sounds exciting. I have to check it out, of course, to see that story again. It's available now at ournews.bs. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.